Welcoming the Dirty Bird back to the program. Tim Means, fresh off suspension, got all that put aside and put behind him. UFC 202 coming up. Obviously, it's Diaz and McGregor is the main event. Tim, how big is it for you to be on this card with these two guys as the main event, coming off a suspension like you did?
I think the bosses think highly of me, wanted to get me back in here right away and then put me on the main card spot. It just shows that they have a lot of belief in me. So, make weight, need to show up and put on a performance. So I'm excited.
So for those at home that don't know, Tim got caught for using a banned substance, and then it came out later, and he always tested, look, I don't cheat. I haven't done anything wrong. It's got to be something in my supplements. He sent all his supplements in, and yes, they did indeed find it. And if you listen to our earlier interview that I had with Tim, he talks about how it was a friend of his for a long time. There was actually a guy at the supplement company that all of a sudden, when this stuff hit the fan, didn't give Tim the courtesy of calling him back and helping him out with his process. Has that friendship been repaired at all, or is it still as bad as we had talked about it before?
Yeah, that friendship is done. He was in the supplement store. He sold me the supplements or a sponsor, and I advertised his company. So when it came down to it, for him to just help me find the lot number, he just got real shady. He wanted me to call the manufacturer, and I contacted those guys and warned them right away about their supplement being tainted or about the issue going on. They pulled the product off the shelves immediately. We had all that in text messages where he told me that he already called and warned them, and that helped me on my case with USADA, that I wasn't in a boat like Yolo or Merrill and these guys where they were able to get 4 or 5 batches of this stuff. The company immediately ran and hid, tucked tail and ran. We were able to find a brand new bottle, one brand new bottle of the same lot number, the empty one that I had, and they tested it. And Jeff Robitsky was the one that really headed the investigation, and he got the ball moving. And then Onya with USADA, they were just super thorough what they did, and it took a little bit of time, but that time went by pretty fast. I got pretty educated on it.
It ended up being a 6-month suspension. Is that correct?
It was, and I didn't want to settle for the 6 months. I thought it was me kind of admitting the guilt or whatever, having to chalk up that I did something wrong, and it wasn't the case. So if I would have continued it and wind up going to the arbitration hearing, they would have got 6 months out of me. So the positive thing was I was able to settle for the 6 months, accept it, and then start negotiating for a fight immediately. So that was the positive that happened out of it.
I mean, obviously you missed a big fight when you got tested, so you lost that income, and you hadn't fought for. Well, geez, you haven't fought since 2015, technically, since December 2015. How's it been financially? We talked about it where it's been kind of rough for you getting things done, but once you got cleared, were you able to kind of recoup some of the lost income from sponsors and other things now that you were exonerated and it was a tainted supplement, not something that you were doing illegally?
No, man, I haven't been paid since December, so I was in family court I got custody of my girl, so I went through that at the same exact time going through with this USADA deal. So, it's a rough estimate, it's $208,000 is, what I was out of everything that's been going down since December. Plus the lost fight, all those lost wages, it could even be a little bit more, but cash spent and cash lost, $208,000, so we sat down, talked to the attorneys that are handling the lawsuit issue with the supplement company, came together with what numbers I've already lost, and then they're adding the numbers that I should have fought and should have fought a couple more times by then since February, so letting the attorneys handle all that, and I'm just happy to be back in the driver's seat and getting ready to rock and roll on Saturday.
So let me be clear. You are suing the supplement company for tainting their supplements and putting something in it that's not on their ingredient list.
Exactly. Yeah, we're making sure. I got the attorneys checking in now. They're checking in the assets of the company, and it was kind of hard to locate the owners of the company, which I think they've done that now. But I can't really speak a whole lot about that. My attorneys want to be the mouthpiece of that investigation that's going on. But that Howard Jacobs man, he's 200 cases with USADA. The dude knows what he's doing. He sues supplement companies. So when he got on board with me and Jeff Ravitsky, those guys got on board right away. They believed me right off the gate. The numbers that were in my system were just super, super low, were barely even red. They were the ones that were shouting supplement right away, and I was kind of skeptical on it, or just kind of nervous that it wasn't even going to be found. But the stuff that they picked out right away, they tested, they picked it out. I didn't have nothing and choosing the supplement, they did all that, and they found it, man. They're good at what they do.
And so, I mean, the process sucked. We talked a lot, even more so than the interviews. You and I talked quite a bit as you're going through this process, and it sucked for you. I mean, it made my heart hurt thinking about not even realizing. I didn't realize it was 208,000. I was just thinking about the lost fight, and like that, how bad that hurts fighters, because we don't make any money unless you're competing. If you're not competing, there's no cash coming in, so it's tough. And then add in going to court for your daughter, that and your girls, excuse me, both of them. That's a big deal. That's super tough going through that process. But now you're done and you've gone through it. You look at the line, the betting line between you and Sabah Homasi, your opponent. It's pretty significant. You're a pretty heavy favorite in this one coming in. We talked about it before. Ring rust, is it going to be a factor because you were actually training for a fight and then had to get pulled and were kind of anxious to get back in as quick as possible? Is ring rust going to be much of a factor for you during this fight?
I don't think so, man. I don't look at the odds or nothing. This guy's a dangerous guy with big power. He's been knocking out guys that are out of shape, though. It's like, can't really look past that. He seems to have good power or whatever, but I'm hungry, man. I've never been this focused. I have the reasons to want to be in this game. I got to go get another job and realize just how much I enjoy my job and how much I like being in this situation and how much I like the stressful environment. I'm just happy to be back, man. And whoever they put in front of me, which I'm glad Homasi stepped up, but it's going to be a barn burner. I'm here to send a statement and let everybody realize that I am here to stay.
What supplement companies you have to switch on to for this camp, or did you go just you and your wife just having to sit down and go through the diet plan and using nothing but fruits and vegetables and meat?
Yeah, mainly food minus like electrolytes and aminos. We have a recovery, which is like posting carbs carbs and protein for like after serious hard workouts or whatever, but very, very minimal on that stuff. Everything's through food. But I was realizing just how sore I was getting or how it was kind of hard to recover without the electrolytes and the aminos. So that was a pretty big factor that we tested and realized that I did need that stuff. But anything like a creatine or anything else, I got away from all that stuff. I thought creatines were low risk. They've been around forever. I never thought I would have found something in my creatine. So now it's just been mainly, just good hydrating and just eating really well. Nice electrolyte stuff, we need that stuff in there,
It's tough for me because I've kind of switched over to, the no GMO, vegan type supplement companies are the ones I like to go to. So obviously the one I use is ATH because it's based here in Hawaii and they're great products. But it's got to be tough as a competitor. I don't have to worry about drug testing, so it doesn't matter to me what I take. But for you, it's a huge deal. Like, you have to be careful about everything you put in your system. Did you go back to Asada and go, hey, look, this is the drug, this is the electrolytes I'm taking. These are the aminos I'm taking, and look at it before I start taking it to make sure it's completely fine? Or how was that process?
Yeah, they sent me to a company, it's sportscheck.org, and I was able to look up the batch numbers of the product that I'm taking, and it showed when they were tested last in a facility for banned substances. So I went that route, looking at the lot numbers, making sure that it had been tested and pre-approved. But damn, man, I'm reading ingredients and everything all the way down to my popsicles that I eat. I don't know if it's so much paranoid or just more alert now with it, that it's a very real thing. And then I see some lady with her tap water that they tested and found some problems in her tap water. So it's an issue that's going on, and the fact of the matter is that you started me to shutting the doors on the athletes now. Like, I've seen bills where athletes were tested products in the laboratories, found the product or found the tainted supplement, and were still suspended for 4 years. So it seems like USADA is doing more of a thorough job about looking out for the athlete rather than just shutting the door on the athlete today. They're really trying to look for the best interest of the athlete, not just shut the doors on us. And that's my experience with USADA and Jeff Nowitzki, and I think be more pleased with that. They really did a great job.
I got to ask you then about, Lesnar and John Jones. They both recently just failed for banned supplements. Lesnar obviously had estrogen blockers in his system. That's what came out. I'm not sure what John Jones had. I forget, actually. So you have a good outlook on the process. Like, the process sucked, but you're like, they helped me and really went through it and really, got me through the fine, got me through the suspension, got me through everything, and they put me on a main card right away. Obviously, Lesnar and Jones are bigger names. Lesnar may never fight again, and so if he doesn't, then it doesn't matter. But Jones obviously wants to fight again. Do you think that that with what Dana has said in the media, do you think is your feeling like they're trying to help John, is just the UFC trying to help John as much as they helped you?
Oh yeah, I believe so. I think he's got a little bit more assets and cash, you know what I mean? It can help get the test pushed a little quicker. More likely he has the same attorney, Howard Jacobs, that I did, so if he's hiding something, USADA will find it, and if he's not hiding it, USADA will find it. So they're just super thorough what they did in my case, and I wasn't even one of the bigger top names like that. But it makes me be a little bit less judgmental, like I'm not having an opinion on the situation until all his evidence is laid out. And same with Brock Lesnar, you can sit there and say he's from the WWE and those guys juice and watch documentaries on it, but I don't know his life. I don't know John Jones's life, so they could easily fall into a tainted supplement issue. I don't know that until all the facts are presented.
Right. See, and that's the attitude that all of us should have. Yeah, he felt, well, what's the PED? Like, what happened? Why is it a banned substance? Like, what was it really? And then you got to wait till everything comes out. We tend to jump to conclusions way too easily.
Yeah, I was definitely guilty before I was innocent, for sure, and I knew I didn't do anything wrong, but I had to prove my innocence. All
right, let's talk about Sabah Homasi, your opponent. You said earlier he's been knocking guys out, but they're tired and they're not really to your caliber of striker in competition. Do you feel like, obviously you feel like this is a great matchup for you, coming back, being on a main event. Were there other names thrown at you before you decided on this one, or was this the name they put in front of you, and you're, of course, being as hungry as you are, just said yes?
Yeah, there was a few names. There was 5 or 6 guys that were on the list. Some guys were injured. Some guys couldn't make the weight or whatever. So they pulled the Irishman Quilly, or Peter Quilly, or however you say his name. He was barking a lot and had his fans really pushing the fight, so I wanted to help silence the Irish crowd that night, so I was on board with that one. He had a visa issue, and then we came back around to Sabah, so I was just super thankful that they took the fight, and thankful that Joe Silva worked so hard in a short amount of time to give me a match and keep me on the card.
For me, this fight's going to be a barn burner. I don't see it getting through much further than the first half of the second round. I really don't see it going that long, and of course, I see you putting him on the canvas. When you do your visualization, thinking about this fight, do you see submitting him, or do you see yourself knocking him out?
Both. I've seen my hand just getting raised at the end of the night, submission or knockout. But in the dream I had last night, I win by finish. So it's definitely going to be a violent fight. He doesn't go backwards and he comes forward. So it's going to be a clash.
Last question before I let you out of here, Tim, because I know you're already in Vegas. It's a big media weekend for you, and you got a lot of crap going on today. I got to ask, though, how is your wife dealing with all this now that it's over? She was a rock for you when it was going on, and she seemed to be I don't want to say no emotion, but she was like, don't worry about it. This is the steps we have to do to get through it. But now that it's done, has she finally holy crap, we just went through some bad shit?
She never got down, man. They were, my wife and my mother-in-law, my parents, they were all just super supportive. And, where I was at 10 years ago, I never would have that type of support in my corner. So to know that my people trusted me, my wife trusted me, no matter what was being said, they had my back through thick and thin. That really made me feel good. And, my wife just went off for the King of the Cake out in Wisconsin. She lost the decision. So it was kind of a rough going for her. She worked through 3 different injuries and still took the fight when I was trying to talk her out of it. But it just shows the mindset that lady has. She's super, super tough. She doesn't cut corners, and she really kept me together and kept my mind out of wanting to go get a bottle of Jack Daniels or something and mess up. She kept me straight, and a lot of love for her. So I'm thankful to have those people, have my wife, my mother-in-law, my family, just the people that stuck by my side. It's super important to me, and I'm thankful.
Tim, thanks so much for the interview today. I really appreciate it. And also, too, when I thank you for the previous interviews, again, I knew it was a tough time for you. It was super, super dark, and I'd hit you up, and you were immediately like, yeah, I have no problem. I'll talk about it. Even though you weren't sure anything was going to go your way, you still thought that it could be a big suspension, could be a big fine, and you still weren't positive, even though Jeff said, hey, we're going to get it as short as possible and get the number as low as possible. You still were like, it could be the worst. You still have to ride on that. And you still stepped up and did interviews with us, and we really appreciate it over here at MMA Oddsbreaker.
Yeah, thanks, Frank. I appreciate the talk, man, like always.
You got it, man. We'll talk soon. Good luck this weekend, man. I'll be at home watching.
All right. Thank you. Bye.